basically, yeah, that shows your, commitment to advance your career. So before, getting into the agenda for the day, let's just have a quick warm-up session. Can you just tell me, yeah, here's a quick quiz. Just drop, the options in the chat box. Which layer of the OCI model does router operate on? If anybody knows the answer, just drop the options in the, chat box. Or either you can unmute yourself. It's just basically a, quick session so that I can know like what is the basic, networking knowledge you have, right? Sorry?
Network layer.
All right. Anybody else? I'm getting a lot of options, A, C. Yes?
Network layer.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So the correct answer is network layer. Just a minute. So is the screen visible, guys?
Yes. Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. Okay. One more question, and then just straight away head to the agenda for the day. Which protocol is used to assign addresses automatically in a network?
DHCP.
DSCP.
All right. Okay. So many of you are like, Alok, you're saying something? Okay. Anyways, yes, the correct answer is DHCP. Any of you can, does anybody know like what the DHCP stands for?
Dynamic Host Configure Protocol.
All right. Yeah, that's great. Okay. So since like you have the basic, knowledge of the networking, then just we head to the agenda for the day. So today, so you all be learning, just a minute. Yeah. Wait a minute.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Mr. Varun will take class. I think.
Yes, Mr. Varun will be taking the class for the CCNP ENARSI.
Okay.
It's basically your engineer. And I'll, just straight away head to the agenda for the day. So first of all, in today's class, you'll be getting to know, how to deep dive into the RIP protocols and its possibilities. Basically, you'll be understanding its mechanism, ye kaise kaam karta hai, and, exploring the what can be the possible, what can be the possibility with the RIP in today's network. Secondly, you'll be knowing the load balancing options using RIP. And thirdly, the static options that you can use in the network. But before, Varun, take charge over it, I'll, want to introduce Varun. He has like 17 years of experience in the industry.
Oh.
And you can see, in front of your screen that he holds multiple certifications. And also, you are learning from the best, I can say that. Many people are joining now. Yeah. So see, before Varun taking charge over it, I just want to brief you about the CCNP Enterprise Master Program. So basically, it's just a small introduction about the program. And then, I'll ask Varun to take charge over it. So basically, what is CCNP Enterprise Master Program? It includes, two modules, the CCNP, CCNA Core and CCNP, ENARSI. All right. Hello. Am I audible, guys? It's CCNP Core and
Yes.
it's CCNP ENARSI. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's basically of 3 months program. All right. In CCNP Core, you all must be aware that, you'll be learning the advanced routing and switching, which includes security, infrastructure, and virtualization. In CCNA ENARSI, you guys will be learning the advanced routing protocols, OSPF, BGP, VPN technologies, and all that stuff. And also, see, if you want to, aim for the senior role of a senior network engineer, so basically NRC is like must. And also, just wanted to tell you that we are also starting a batch on SD-WAN, which is of 2 months. And this SD-WAN, you all know that it's the key technology for the network automation. I guess most of the people are like joining in, right?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so I had enrolled for a combo pack earlier, which was CCNA, CCNA and Core and Palo Alto. So
CCNP,
is
basically,
this?
yes, it's CCNP and core and CCNP and RC. Yeah.
No. It was CCNA, CCNP and Core and Palo Alto. So is this a part of that only, or this
No,
is
no, no,
separate?
no. See, it's just a brief introduction. See, it's just a brief introduction of the CCNP Enterprise Masters Program. See, we also offer a lot of Masters Program. I understand you have enrolled in the CCNA and RC, like, this Network Engineer Master Program, right?
Right.
Yeah, so basically just see, we actually introduce, multiple programs in the before starting the session. So just it's a brief introduction about the CCNP Enterprise Program. So there's nothing to worry about it. It's just a brief introduction. I'm
No,
just,
no, I get that, ma'am. What I'm trying to ask you is this part of that same? Because earlier there was one ma'am who was teaching us. What her name? Is this the continuation of that? Because I
Not
was
really,
told they would.
not really. That's a separate program. See, I
Okay.
am just introducing the CCNP. See, whichever the batch we are starting, right? We are introducing the programs in front of that, like, before the starting of that batch. So it's just a demo session on the CCNP and RC. And
Okay.
I'm just introducing this master program because, we have came up with the BOGO offer. So that's why I'm just, introducing this program. So this
Okay.
like this that program is Network Engineer Master Program.
Got it. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So basically, see, this is as like Hanu Prasad is saying. So basically, this is a BOGO offer for you guys. Either you can take a screenshot of it, or I'm just giving you 10 seconds to have just scan this QR code. Basically, what is this QR code? QR code is the offer link which will direct you to the offer, which and you can avail this offer. And if you ask me, like, what is the offer? So basically, you will be getting, see, as like Hanu Prasad said, like, we have multiple master programs running. And we are offering multiple master programs like CCNP and enterprise, network engineer master program, cloud, DevOps, and so many programs are there. So basically, all the master programs, in case if you are get into the all the master programs, you'll be getting 2 years validity on it, and also you'll be getting flat 10K off in that particular program, right? So I'm just giving you 10 seconds, just take a screenshot of it, or you can scan it, right? And just give me a thumbs up if once you have done it, or just unmute yourself and then just say, like, you have done it. Then I shall proceed further.
Yeah, I've taken.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Okay, so last but not the least, see, don't take my words for it. See, these are our students who have, like, done these programs with us, and these are the real life, real success stories. These are the professionals like you who have advanced in their careers and also land up in the jobs which obviously you guys are aspiring for. And just one more thing, see, after CCNP, right, once you have done CCNP, which is NCore and NRC, you can also go for the CCI certification, or you can also transition your field into network automation, DevOps is there, cybersecurity is there, and so all the master programs we are offering in at networkings. So basically, this is just a small introduction on this CCNP enterprise program. I would request Varun to take over the charge and just let's start the session. Is Varun available? Hello.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes. Hi, Varun. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How about you, ma'am?
Okay, Varun, the stage is yours. Let's like I'm taking you. You must take over the session. All right.
Yeah, ma'am. No problem. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. All the best. Happy learning. Just a minute, Varun. I'm just stopping my.
Yeah.
Yeah, Varun, go on.
Okay. Just a second, guys. Okay. So, guys, hello everyone. and very good morning to everyone. My name is Varun, and we are here for CCNP ENARSI for specific for 300 and 401. So this is the second exam for CCNP, and this exam is like uh, we think that at least you have a CCNA level knowledge to go into this specific component, that is the NRC 300 401. So let me introduce myself for a few things about me. So my name is Varun, and I have 17 plus years of experience in IT industry, and I have worked in small to large enterprise environments, and I have a lot of on-site experience, and I have built a lot of network from scratch. I have few certifications you can see over here, that CCNA, CCNP Enterprise, and the specialist one, which actually comes after the CCNP Enterprise, the infrastructure implementation and enterprise core. And I have few other certification like Security Plus, which comes from the CompTIA, and even I have the A plus N plus from CompTIA, which comes actually, and ITIL is for IT management, in information technology management. So I have that, and Azure Fundamentals is nowadays very popular for cloud networking and the basic infrastructure. And I have done Microsoft also, but that is very old nowadays, because I have done on 2003 servers, around the 2000 servers earlier, and nowadays it's a 2019, and I think maybe 2020 server is also coming up. So I have attempted my CCI also, that back in 2014. So this is about me little bit, my background. So CCNP, everybody knows that it's a Cisco certified network professional, and the professional level is like you are at least maybe if you are going for interviews and all, you might have you should have at least 2 years or 3 years of experience at least, and then you can go for the advanced interviews and all, right? So this NRC, you can see that this exam has a global cost. The global exam cost is around $300 approx, and in that exam, you will get around 60 to 90 questions depending on the sometime the exam set, and the passing score is around 825 out of 1,000, and it will be having multiple choice objective type questions, true and false, and testlets. And testlets in the sense, you will get a some diagrams and all, then you have to understand that what exactly happening, or the outputs also. Let's say you have done the show IP route or show arc table or something. So whenever you get the specific output, you have to judge about it, and then you have to give the answer on that. Let me Okay, so this is advanced. This NRC is actually Enterprise Advanced Routing and Services, right? NRC, and this exam, let us go into the Cisco.com. Let me show you. So Cisco.com. Let's say when you go to Cisco.com, you can go to the Learn, then Certifications, then you can go for Browse All Certifications, or either you can go for All Training Certifications and explore. So when you go to this, you have multiple options like collaboration, DevOps, design, data center, DevNet, enterprise, security. So we are here today for the enterprise one, because these are the different levels and different technologies. All levels different. You have to go for the separate courses. So enterprise, if you go to the enterprise, and you will get the this CCST, which is the very initial exam that usually we don't go for it, because again, if you want to go for CCNA, then you have to give the exam again, right? So we directly go for the CCNA nowadays. And CCN, everybody know it's an entry level associate, and but this is very important exam or important learning factor, because if anybody is fresher or anybody is trying to move their career into the Cisco networking or the networking, then this is very important exam, because you will understand how exactly the network works and the basic understanding of all the protocols, all the devices, how exactly they work, like switches, firewalls, and the and your switches, firewalls, and your load balancer and everything, right? And the VPN technology. So it's a basic one that you will learn each and everything. Very either you learn theoretical part, or either basic practicals you will do in the CCNA, right? So I assume for this professional certification that we are going to cover after this demo class, that is CCNP and NRC, right? CCNP NRC, we assume that at least you should have knowledge. Not, I'm not saying that you should have done the exam for CCNA, the global exam. At least you have got trained on CCNA at least, and you have all the information and all the practicals. At least you know how to configure a router, what is router, what how exactly the OSI model looks, and how exactly the packet flows. So we should know at least that much. And we'll go for the CCNP enterprise then. And in enterprise, guys, nowadays there is no prerequisite for doing any of the exam. Let's say if you want to go for any global exam, there is no prerequisite. Either if you, for example, if you have done your training in CCNA and you do not want to give the if you don't want to give the exam for CCNA, then you can directly go for the CCNP enterprise as well. And in enterprise, if you want to complete your CCNP enterprise certification and you want to get the certificate for CCNP enterprise global certification, I'm talking about, not the training one. So if you want to go for that, at least you have to give the two exams, because CCNP consists of two exams normally. Let me show you. So it is the first is mandatory exam, which is NCORE, right? And the second is, you can choose from these all 8 exams. You can choose. You can see, choose one of concentration exam. So one is NCORE, which is mandatory, and the second you can give NRC, SD, ENSD, WAN, and ENSD, right? And auto, like that. So you can give any of the specific exam. So if you want to go for the specific SD-WAN technologies, you can go for this. If you want to go for the designing part, enterprise network, then you can go for this, right? If you want to go for the wireless, you can go for this, right? Depending on the requirement, right? So you can go for any of the specific one. Let's say enterprise, what exactly we mean from the enterprise network. Enterprise is the basic infrastructure of any company, right? Any MNC companies or anything, or any customer, any client that you are having, they are running their website, their web servers, right? So they are enterprise network, right? So anything that you can build and troubleshoot in the basic networking part, that is your enterprise network. And on top of that, you can go for security, you can go for specific technologies, you can go for DevOps, right? But the enterprise is the basic infrastructure, or the basic mainstream of your entire network. Without that, nothing can be done. Like, no, if there is no network, then what you will secure? So that's what, like, basic enterprise network is the main point, the main building block of your network, right? So if you go for the NRC, so if you go for the exam topics over here, you can see, let's say, review exam topics. So you can see this is the exam over here. This is exam description. And but if you see one more thing, let's say if you haven't given any like the NCORE exam, if you directly gave these CCNP NRC exam, then you will not get the CCNP enterprise certificate, but you will get the Cisco certified specialist enterprise advanced certificate implementation certification, right? But not the CCNP enterprise, because CCNP enterprise will be completed once you will do the NCORE and NRC both, right? So this is the extra thing that you will get after passing the NRC, even similar to the NCORE exam. If you pass the NCORE exam, then you will get the one more CCNP NCORE specialist enterprise certification. So at least you can say that after passing the CCNP enterprise, you are getting actually 4 certificates. 2 is specialist one, and 2 is enterprise. That is exactly the same, right? So this is the good thing about CCNP enterprise. And after, let's say, if you don't want to go for the CCNP exams also, and you can go for the CCIE as well directly, and you don't have to give any of the older exams, CCNA, CCNP. You can directly give the CCIE exam. And in CCIE also you have the first exam is Encore itself, same, because it's a theoretical exam for everything, for all the CCIE enterprise network as well. And then you have the lab exam. So lab exam is normally for CCI is around 8 hours, 8 hours exam, and that's all hands-on exam. You don't have to do any theoretical part or any. No, there is no objective type questions or anything. There is all lab practicals that you have to perform, right? So after passing the CCIE, then you can go for any of the organization for higher level engineers, right? So in CCNP NRC, you can see there is these are the topics that we are going to cover. So you can see mostly it is written as a troubleshoot, right? There is nothing something called configure this, configure that. Let's say if you go for CCNA, then it will be mentioned like configure OSPF, configure a NAT, configure DSCP, right? So configure access list, those things. But in the this exam enterprise, they assume at least you know all these things already, and then we are going to deep dive into any of the technology and understand how exactly the routing protocols work and how we can manipulate the network actually. So it is like the network is existing and you are troubleshooting deep into that, or you want to manipulate using the advanced information, advanced technology. You want to manipulate your network according to the requirement, right? So we will understand, you will understand today's class, you will understand what kind of advanced things we can do with the, even with the static routing. I think everybody know what is static routing. So we can explore that what else can be done. Even the RIP protocol, very small protocol that everybody knows, okay, this is the older protocol, nowadays it will not work, nobody uses that like that. But still there are thousands of possibilities that we can even play with static routing. We can even play with your RIP protocol, and according to that you can understand how much we can play with the other protocols as well, like EIGRP, OSPF, BGP, MPLS, right? We can play more into that. Even you can see the troubleshoot OSPF, troubleshoot OSPF, NSSA, not so stubby area, stub area, right? ASBR, ABR, what, how to create the virtual link, what exactly it is. Troubleshoot BGP, IGP, and VRF, how to create the VRF, what is VRF actually. So VRF normally we create for the virtual router and for the different customers. So you can say that your ISPs most of the time, or maybe your big enterprise network, those have the multiple customers, they use VRF, right? So we will troubleshoot all those things, and then we will move to the VPN technologies. We will understand how the authentication servers can be configured, radius servers, Takak server, AAA server, authentication, authorization, and accounting, how that can be configured, right? And then we will understand the basic terminology like SNMP, EIGRP, OSPF, that how we can control these using the control plane. So we will understand what is control plane, data plane, right? So and then the IPv6, we will understand these few things. And the infrastructure, you can see the all the your HTTP, the protocols, web protocols, your application layer protocols, how DSCP relay works, how the DSCP is happening. So all these things we are going to cover in this NRC exam. And the good part of this NRC is actually those have completed their CCNA, or either at least you have any knowledge about the CCNA things and you already know about how exactly the router works and switch works. So for those people, this NRC is actually giving the more what exactly it has. Why? Because see, here it is written all troubleshooting part, right? That you will not going to specifically learn or something, or configure from scratch, but you will troubleshoot. But that is not possible, right? Why? Because at least we have to implement the RIP protocol or OSPF protocol, and then we can troubleshoot further. So you will get the double information, because we will understand how to implement as well, and then how to troubleshoot in the manipulation way, and in the deep understanding that how to capture their packets, what to understand, what not to understand. So all these detailed part you will get in the NRC. So it's a double learning process that you will get. So it's a good thing about you. So at least you can say that while doing the NRC, you are getting few things about Encore as well, few things from CCNA already, and even the higher stuff for the CCIE that you will going to learn in more deep at least. So that those things will be included in this NCORE exam. So this is the NCORE NRC exam, because this is the beauty of this exam actually. Got it? Anybody have any question about about the syllabus or about the course? What exactly we are going to do
Hello,
after
sir.
the demo class? Yes.
Sir, MPLS we will cover in this NRC.
MPLS. Let me check in this. I don't think MPLS is there, but we can take the brief about the MPLS as well. That's not a problem. But it is not there in the syllabus. Yes.
It is
It's
under
there.
VPN technologies.
Yeah, VPN technology.
Yeah. Here it is described. So it is. Yeah, we will cover. Definitely, we will cover. Yeah.
Hey, Varun, so this is you're going to cover both of these into different sets. Like first there will be NCORE and then the specialist NRC.
No. We are not going to cover specifically NCORE, right? So we will deep dive into the protocols basically. So NRC is the advanced part actually, right? So you will
Right.
understand how to manipulate the protocols, right?
Core, we are starting NRC and NCORE parallelly. 9:30 is the NRC timing, and 10 o'clock we have another batch for NCORE. So the people who is interested to start from NCORE, they can start from NCORE 10
Right.
a.m. in the morning on the weekend. Today, same day we are starting, like in the next 2 minutes, we are starting that sessions also.
Okay, so 10 o'clock it will be the weekend for NCORE.
Yes, correct. And
Okay,
9:30 for NRC.
so how do we enroll? Like because I was part of that master program, right? So if I need to continue with that, how do I've got the link only for that.
Otherwise, I'll just call you after the session. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Arun sir. Oh.
Yeah. Anyone have any other question? Any doubt?
Right, just from
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Tell me.
Yeah, is it okay to take parallelly both NCORE and NRC? Can we able to understand?
You can do that, but I don't think so. The timing is same. If
No, not timing. I am taking in the weekend the NRC and the
yeah,
weekdays
right.
NRC.
That you can do it. You can do it. That's not a
Is it
problem.
okay, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is okay.
Yeah.
As much as you can grasp, that is okay.
Yeah. And Varun bhai, this NRC, what is the timeline for the course? Like in how many months you will be?
So it is on weekends, right? 9:30 to like around 2 hours, 2.5 hours maximum. So we'll take like that, and it depends, like around 50 hours, 60 hours. It depends, like it will be completed maximum.
Okay.
Anyone have any other question? Sorry, what do you get? You're not audible properly, Nilesh. Anyway, guys, so I don't think anybody have any question about the course curriculum, right? So let's move to the real action and see few of the things, right?
So is it 3 months at course?
So for NRC, it will not be 3 months. It will be around 50 hours. So that depends, like maybe around in how much you'll say 2.5 months you'll complete this.
Okay, sir.
Hi, Varun. Are we going to cover IPv6 and like MPLS and PPGP in depth, or is it will be just high level overview?
It's an overview here in the for the MPLS and IPv6. Also, we will understand that how to enable for the specific protocols like BGP, OSPF, and all. But not in the deep dive, because that you will cover in the NCORE part.
Because I thought IPv6 was a big part of NRC.
No, actually, it is not that much, but it is according to the protocols. right? So according to how, for example, if you see the EIGRP also, you will understand how IPv6 can be enabled and how to troubleshoot that, even with the OSPF as well, even with the BGP as well, right? So we will understand that in detail, that how IPv6 will be working behind the BGP, OSPF, and EIGRP. So these three protocols, IPv6 will be covered.
Correct. Thank you.
After completing these 50 hours, are we ready to take the exam immediately or we need to prepare?
You need to prepare, obviously. You need to give some time yourself, understanding the things, practicing your labs back to back. Or if you are doing in the regular basis, you can.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, sir. One thing, like, is there any batches for anarchy in the weekdays?
For NRC?
Yes, yes.
No.
Weekdays.
I'm not sure it is there. You can contact the network kings about it and they will get back to you, right?
Okay, then you'll be taking on Saturday and Sundays, right, sir?
Yes, I'll be taking Saturday and Sunday, around 2 hours approx.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's move to the few things. So, guys, I just wanted to know that you all are comfortable with the specific CCNA information, that everybody is went into the, like, go through with the CCNA stuff, and at least you guys have knowledge about what exactly the protocols, what is router, switches, and all. Everybody, yes or no? Okay. Okay, guys. So we'll start for the very basic thing first of all, since the routing protocols. Right, routing protocols. So, guys, I just want your connectivity in that, because I want you to speak. So, can you guys tell me what are the routing protocols available, and what type of routing is available? Anyone?
RIP, EIGRP, OSPF.
And what
Um,
type?
RIP is a distance vector protocol.
Right, and what are the types actually?
The type in the sense.
Interior and exterior.
What do you have, Sen?
Interior and exterior protocols.
Interior and exterior. Okay, fine.
You're asking
static and dynamic
versions
static
or
and dynamic. Okay, yeah. So that we want to understand what is, first of all, what static and dynamic. So there are two types of routing protocols available. One is static protocols. One is static. We can say routings actually, not the protocols. We can say types of routing. It is. So static and dynamic, two types of routing is there. Dynamic, right? And then there we have dynamic routing protocols, because static is again kind of manual stuff, right? And dynamic is that we have some protocols, those helps us to do the dynamic routing, right? So dynamic protocols will be there, right? Now there are two types of routing, which is static and dynamic. And how many types of routing protocols are there?
protocols in the sense, that's what RIP, EIGRP, OSPF, ISIS, BGP, MPLS.
Okay.
IGRP.
So if you remember, guys, if you remember, in the dynamic routing protocols, in the dynamic routing, basically we have different types of routings available, right? Anyone know what is first one?
Link state.
Okay,
RIP.
that's a protocol. I'm asking about the types.
I think exterior or interior EGP.
Distance
vector protocol.
Yep. So first of all, we have the distance vector routing, right? Distance vector routing. Second, we have the
Link state.
link state routing. Third, we have the
Hybrid.
hybrid routing. And last, anyone know?
Path vector.
Yep, that's absolutely right. So it's a path vector routing protocol. So there are 4 types of routings available in our dynamic routing sector. So path vector, hybrid. Sorry for the spelling, hybrid. Right. So hybrid routing protocols, distance vector, and under distance vector again we have few things, right? So there are the different protocols available. So in distance vector, which protocol comes?
RIP 1, RIP 2.
RIP. So that's a version. So we can say RIP, and then anyone?
EIGRP.
EIGRP.
There is a protocol called IGRP.
IGRP. Yeah.
Right. So these 2 protocols comes under your distance vector routing protocol, and then the link state we have.
OSPF.
Yes.
OSPF.
OSPF and ISI.
IS.
ISIS is intermediate system to intermediate system, which is again works kind of again how exactly OSPF works, but it's little different. But exactly.
When are you going to I mean, ISI is also part of this course.
Not exactly, but we can get the overview.
Try to give summary, right?
Yeah, definitely. So hybrid is your
EIGRP.
one protocol, which is EIGRP. See, actually, this protocol is your distance vector only, but it comes from the distance vector
Enhanced.
only.
Enhanced.
Yeah, you can say enhanced IGRP. So that is why it comes under the hybrid. So we'll understand later on. And path vector, there is only one protocol, which is BGP, right? Border Gateway Protocol. So these are the protocols family which allows you to do the dynamic routing. So dynamic routing in the sense, when somebody asks you what is dynamic routing, so it will do the automatic communication or automatic route advertisement between your routers. For example, let's say I have 3 routers over here, and I have few connectivity or few networks behind that. Let's say this is the X network, this is the Y network, right? And I want to communicate from this from L to X and L to Y. So these networks will be automatically advertised in the entire routing community, and they will understand that how to reach to these networks, because routing is nothing but the how to find the specific path from the specific source to the destination, right? So dynamic routing protocols will automatically advertise the routes between the routers, between the devices, and then you will get the communication. And in static routing, what we have, it's a manual one. So there is one more thing in static routing, which is called default routing, right? So default static routing and the default routing. So actually, few people say that static routing is different, default routing is different. Is it? These both comes with a different stuff or different technology. Yes or no? Anyone have any idea?
No.
They are same. Yes or no?
It's the same.
Yeah, they're same.
Yes, they are same. So so default routing is again a part of static routing itself, right?
Okay.
Default routing doesn't mean that you have any other different specific concept or something. Default routing is a part of static routing itself, right? And when we talked about there were 2 types of protocols, right? That we are saying IGPs and EGPs. So IGPs normally we say it is a interior gateway protocols, and EGPs is your exterior gateway protocol, right? So anybody know what does it mean actually? What is IGP and EGP?
IGP is interior gateway protocol.
Mhm.
So it will work within autonomous system.
Sir, IGP works in same AS.
Same AS, right? So, or you can
Yeah.
say, for example, let's say if I have a enterprise network and it's one of the office, maybe the headquarter office XYZ, and this office is running few routers for a customers or internal routing stuff. So the routing protocols which actually works inside this organization is the IGPs, right? Interior gateway protocols. And you can say that this distance vector, link state, hybrid, these all are your IGP protocols, right? Even OSPF, ISIS, EIGRP, RIP, IGRP, these all are the IGP protocols. EGP protocol, there is only one protocol currently we have, which is BGP, right? Border Gateway Protocol. So, for example, if we have the two AS, yeah, two different branches that we want to communicate and we want to advertise. So, basically, BGP normally we have only for the ISPs normally. Whenever you want to, so anyone, let's say before me telling that, so can anyone tell that why we need EGP protocol or why we need BGP? Anyone? So IGP understood. IGP we understood just for the internal network, you can say, right?
Proprietary and non-proprietary.
No.
No, I want to communicate with the different organizations, so that's what we are using eBGP.
Different organization.
In the sense, for example, I'm working
ISP, sir.
Yeah, ISP, correct.
Yeah, so ISP, what is ISP? Why we need ISP?
For internet connection.
Or connection, without that you are also getting, right? I am sitting in my home and I have the broadband connection from the ISP and I don't need any BGP, OSPF, anything. I don't need in that case, right? Then why we need?
So route policies, right? So routing policies would be different for each organization. So
no, guys, that cannot be the answer.
Like one Mumbai and second in Kolkata, then to communicate for both branches, then we need two BGP protocols.
Actually, no, ISP required for a transport, actually, just a link, that's it. So we can communicate within the, different location, we can use ISP links. So for example, one Chennai, another one is Mumbai. So between the link, it's ISP, that's it. For that we can enabling the eBGP for transferring the protocols.
Okay, so we didn't get there exactly what we wanted. So let me explain. So IGP protocols, for example, just for example, we understand like that. Let's say this is your XYZ branch, right? The headquarters, and I have one more branch over here. Let's say this is in Delhi, and this will be in maybe in Mumbai or Bombay, right? So let's say this is the same branch XYZ.1. Let me say like that. And let's say we want to communicate these two branches. Do you think we need BGP?
No.
No, right? So let's say this is the ISP, Internet Service Provider, and in Delhi also we have ISP, and in Bombay also we have ISP. That never matters that they will be having the same ISP. They can have the different ISPs, right? And you know that all the ISPs are interconnected with each other. So here in this case, let's say this company have a multiple branches over here or multiple department. This is the sales department, this is the HR department over here, this is the IT department, right? And they have few like application servers or internal database, whatever. So these all are getting communicated, and we want to when we need a router. Anybody can tell me when we need a router?
Forward the packets.
No.
To connect
different
networks.
Right. To connect different networks, right? Router is a device which allows you to communicate between different networks, right? It has every interface in the different broadcast and different network zone, right? So that's what we need a router. So when we want to communicate sales department to HR department, those are running in the different subnets, different IP addressing. So then whenever that time they want the router. So let's say you have multiple routers over there, and then you are running the communication between that. So you are running over here which protocols? IGP protocol, correct? And similar way, same kind of scenario can be here, and they are also running the IGP protocol to communicate their internal network. Now, if I wanted to communicate between these two branches, then what I will do? Any idea? What I should do between for communicating these two branches with each other? Let's say HR department is also here, right? And I want this HR department and that HR department sitting in the different location. They can communicate with each other, and maybe I think that they are having the same subnet also. So how we can communicate these two branches with each other?
VPN create
MPLS.
VPN, okay.
If they
VPN is
are
one
in
of
the
the way.
same
MP,
subnet or VLAN, then we have to
MPLS.
get L2 VPNs
Right.
or
Or
VXLAN.
either you can say that I'll buy the lease line from the ISP, which allows me to connect from my edge router to their edge router in a single subnet, right? And I will think that I have a direct connectivity. This branch will think that I have a direct connectivity from my this branch to this branch using the lease line. Yes or no?
Yep.
Right. So this is the way. So in that real environment, that you will think that this device is directly connected to this branch actually, and they are in the same subnet, and then you can do whatever the routing is required. You will feel these two branches are also connected with IAGPs, IGP protocol. Maybe you are running OSPF over here. So what ISP will do, it will create a kind of tunnel between this branch and this branch, right, over the internet, over the ISP, right? So in that case, we don't need BGP, right? Correct. BGP is not required, and because we can use IGPs itself. Now when we need BGP, let's say now this branch is having some servers, web servers, right? And this branch wants to advertise this web server to the entire internet, to the entire ISPs or internet, you can say. Only that time you need the BGP communication. Why? Because the reason being, whenever you have something to advertise to the entire world, only that time you need the BGP communication towards your specific to your ISP. So or you can say how exactly is, let's say I have the public IP saying that 4.5.7.7, and this is running some games.com website, right? And I want every entire world or entire internet can reach to my this particular games.com website. So what I need to do is I need to advertise this subnet to the ISP. And when I advertise this subnet to the ISP, because the ISP doesn't understand these IGP protocols for the customer, so we need to run BGP between ISP and your branch and your company, your organization, and then we will advertise this public network which we have purchased the public IP to the ISP, and this ISP will further advertise this public network to multiple ISPs. Right, every ISP will advertise to other ISP. For example, if I'm sitting in here anywhere in the world over here and I'm connected simple to the internet, I browse games.com, your traffic will go to this ISP, then it will land to this ISP, and all ISPs are interconnected somehow, and then it will reach to my organization, and it will reach to my server and get the information directly to my computer. So in this case, what exactly happening is that whenever you have something to advertise and you have something to showcase towards the internet, that time you need a BGP protocol at least. Got it? So if you have multiple customers or something, and one more important thing, ISP is always running BGP. Why? Because so ISP routers, let's say ISP, these are the multiple ISP routers, right? And ISP always having the multiple customers. So maybe this router is connected with another one of the customer, right? XYZ customer, and this router is also connected with the one of the customer. This router is also communicated with the customer, right? So these all are the connected with a different customer, and maybe we are saying that they are advertising some public information. So these public information will be processed directly to between these routers, and these ISPs will be connected to another ISP as well, and that will be advertised to the next ISP. So ISP is running BGP all onto their routers, and internal to the ISP, they are running the IGP protocols as well. Internal to the ISP. So all the ISPs internally they run IGPs, and externally they will run the BGP, because BGP is only the protocol which can be recognized between the ISPs. There is no other protocol that can be recognized between the ISPs, right? So understood why we need the BGP, why we need protocol.
Yes, I have a quick question.
Yes, tell me.
The question is, like the previous example you said, like if you need to advertise any website or something, you need to have the BGP.
Correct.
So the ISP itself, like when I'm getting any public IP from the ISP, they already have the BGP there in, right? So
correct.
Do I need to have there's a in the BGP there's a private BGP and then the public BGP, right?
Yes.
So in that case, I mean, we can still have the private BGP to advertise towards the ISP and then ISP broadcast everywhere else, right? We not necessarily have the
Correct. So
public
let me tell you, there is
Yeah.
two things. Normally, if you have, let's say, if you have only 2-3 routes or 8 IPs or 8 public IPs, then you might not to get the ISP, because what they will do is that you will in the reality you are not having any specific subnet or something in that case. So whenever the packet comes to your ISP, it will simply forward it to you according to the whatever the subnet you have, right? But whenever you have hundreds of routes or hundreds of links, public IPs, at that time you need to run BGP, right? Because BGP is only the protocol which can handle and which can manipulate the routes according to the connectivity, because these 100 routes are not only getting advertised to your ISPs, it is advertising to multiple ISPs, and then the traffic is coming from entire world to your specific subnet, right? So whenever you have just let's say you have purchased /30 value, or might be you have purchased /29 value for few of the servers, that time you might not need to run the BGP. But after that, whenever you have multiple server, let's say Amazon, let's say Google, or any kind of enterprise network which is having multiple web servers or multiple application server, those they want to project to the internet, that time we need the BGP itself, because BGP can handle only these types of routes and no other protocols. Even in that case, you had to purchase the public AS number, autonomous system number. So you will be the AS specific public AS, you will be having the specific public AS, and then your branch office also will be having some specific public AS. So instead of having the direct lease line to your branch office, also you can have the BGP with that through the ISP.
Sure.
Yes, Saeed.
I think the website example, I was not able to grasp that properly, or I may disagree with that one, because if I have one upstream service provider and I'm advertising even whatever it is, the prefix is /26, 27, why cannot upstream provider give me a default route and I broadcast? In case of multiple ISPs and I have a prefix which I purchased, right? In that case, yes, it makes sense to run BGP. But if it's just one single upstream service provider and they have allocated me a /24 or whatever slash it is, in that case, I don't see a use case of BGP. Is that correct?
No, actually, the thing is, let's say when you have the single home connection, then that time there is a default route from your end, right? ISP will not be sending the default route towards you. Are you getting my point?
Okay.
So see, in that case, let's say, for example, one more thing. Let me open my paint again. So now let's say you have some subnet over with you, and how you will tell to the entire world that I have this subnet. For example, you have few servers, right? And let's say you have some maybe /25 network you have, right? And that /25 network, this is the public IPs, not the private one. Let's say if you have private one, then then you don't have to do anything, right? Then this is the public networks. So these public networks are need to be visible to the entire world. Yes or no?
Yes.
So in that case, how the other ISP's customer, let's say I'm sitting over here, I'm just a customer, I'm just an end user. So I'm connected to this ISP and I want to browse. Let's say this is having something 7.7.7.0/25. So and one of the server is running maybe some application, maybe let's say some XYZ, maybe G Drive, Google Drive, or my some kind of drive is available, right? So I want to browse, I want to go to this G drive. When I say that, when I browse this link, so this packet will go, because I have a default route towards the ISP, because I'm the end user. So the default packet will be sent to ISP. Now this packet received by this ISP, how he will understand this Google Drive, where exactly it is. Okay, it will do some DNS lookup and everything. After that, he will get the IP address. So this public IP address, who should be knowing about it? This ISP, yes or no? This ISP should be knowing the public IP for your gdrive.com, right? So this public ISP, how you will tell to the ISP in that case? Because with the help of default route, you cannot tell that I have this thing. Are you getting my point? So in that case, ISP should know that these kind of subnet is coming from this customer. and this customer needs to run the BGP in that case, right? So BGP connections can be multiple types. One is single home, dual home, and multi-home and dual multi-home. So we will understand that when we go to the BGP, right? We will understand in depth that what exactly is happening. But right now, yes, when we have the public network, then we have to run the BGP with the ISP so that this ISP can update to the other ISP as well that these kind of subnet exist, right? So that any ISP getting the packet for the specific subnet, they can transfer with each other and they will get it to the specific destination exactly, right? Otherwise, how this ISP knows that? Let's say maybe you have configured default route here. Okay, you are able to reach internet, ISP able to reach to your subnet, but how other ISP?
Okay, so my point was that normally when we go to the ISPs and we say we need this many IP addresses, right?
Right.
Let's say we need 6 or 5 usable IP addresses, right? And they will just allocate us /29. They will configure a gateway on their edge router or PE router, right? So, and in that case, you even don't need to run a dynamic routing protocol.
So whenever you need more than you say 50 or 100 IPs, that time you need, right? Before that, what they will do is they will internally advertise with their own specific subnet and they will create a route to that. So they will say that is called the unknown routing, right? So in that case, if any ISP receives any packet which is not there, so they will go through the unknown routes, and then it will receive to your /29 value. So if lesser than that, then you have to run the BGP itself. So we'll understand more depth into whenever we go for the BGP. Okay. Okay, so now back to the things that dynamic routing and the basically this EGP and BGP. So EGP protocol is BGP, which is between the different ISPs, different multiple service providers. Whenever they want to communicate with each other, they need to run the BGP itself. Without that, they cannot, because in BGP we have millions of routes, right? And our internal gateway protocols cannot handle the internal protocols. Internal protocols cannot handle these many routes actually. So BGP is designed for handling the multiple or millions of routes over there, right? And there was a earlier protocol which actually called EGP, right? Before the BGP, before 1990s, actually there was a protocol called EGP, which was kind of BGP itself. Okay, so that's why if you remember that E is already taken by some other protocols. If you remember, when we see show IP route, you will get R as a protocol as a RIP, and OSPF you will get O, right? EIGRP you will get D. Why? Because E is already taken by the EGP protocols earlier, right? And then after that the EGP is destroyed, and then top of that the BGP comes over. That's why the E protocol, the E number is already taken. Okay, so that was the small thing that to update. So you understood that what type of protocols available, static and dynamic, right? So let's go to the okay. So let's say you have a scenario where you have the ISP and you have a edge router with you, and which is connected to ISP, right? And let's say I have running maybe OSPF or EIGRP between these routers, right? And they have some internal IPs, local networks over here. Let's say these local networks are maybe 192.168.1.0/24, and this will be 192.168.2.0/24. Correct. And we are running, let's say, OSPF or EIGRP. Okay. So the people sitting over here, let's say this is a switch and this is your again local network. This might be 192.168.3.0/24, right? So now let's say if these IPs wants to communicate to internet, we don't have anything to project to our entire world, but we have something some of the this one this private IPs wants to communicate to internet. So what exactly is required? Anyone? I want to communicate these computers towards the internet. What we need to do on this router?
Default gateway.
Default.
Default routing.
Yeah. So I need to have a default route towards the ISP, right? So I need to say IP route, right? And default route will be any source IP which is 0.0.0 and any destination IP which is again 0.0.0. So anything which is not matching into my routing table, please forward it to the ISP. Correct? So it will simply forward it to the ISP. What about these routers? Anyone know? Is these computers can communicate to internet? Let's say these computers are able to communicate to the internet because of the default route available on this router. Yes or no? So this router will be able to communicate to the internet easily. Why? Because they have the default route. This router knows that if any packets come to me from my local network, I have to forward. If it is not matching to my routing table, I have to forward it to the ISP. It will forward. But what about these networks? These networks can communicate to internet, yes or no?
We
Yes,
can.
they can.
Yes.
We also identify
Are we-
mention their
First, we
protocol.
have to do default dynamic routing. Then we have to do like default route.
First, we need to enable OSPF on the between ISPs.
No, ISP you cannot run the OSPF. No, OSPF
Then we can
running?
Then we can go with BGP.
No, BGP is also not required. So
We
You
provide
can
the
do
default route for
netting also. You can do
OSPF.
Static.
NATing is already present on R1. That is how
I
it is
think
taking your this one, no, the private IPs to public.
if you're
Yes.
running OSPF in
Default
your
route
domain in
originate.
3 routers, you just need to inject default route in your dynamic
Yes,
routing protocol.
yes, that's right. That's absolutely right. So what will happen, guys? See, these are running the OSPF, right? And whenever any packet comes to this guy will say, okay, where you want to go. He will check his routing table and forward the packet according to the available routes. Now, this router never knows that if you want to communicate to google.com, that route is not available in this router, right? That route is not available in this router, and there is no default route also present on the other router, which those are communicated with the help of OSPF or RIP or any other protocol. So internal router never knows there is any default route available, because default route is available only with the edge router, right? So in our home environment, what we will do, we have a fiber optic coming to my home, and then we have a router, either the wireless or wired one, whatever, and then we have our laptops or the phones and all, everything, and those are connected with the wireless or wired, right? So how they are getting? So we will be having some public IP which is provided by the ISP on my edge routers interface, maybe and that will be also temporarily. Whenever you restart your router, you might get the different public IP because you have not purchased anything, right? So let's say this guy is having 202.7.6.9 public IP available on this interface, right? And your internal computers are simply moving outwards, right? And because what is happening, so first of all, they are running maybe DSCP, and you are getting the DSCP IP or address, and that will be your all private 192.168.1.0/24 you are getting, and your gateway will be your router's interface, which will be 192.168.1.1, right? That is your gateway for all your internal IP addresses, internal computer. So the traffic will be forwarded to this router. Now this router will convert this private IPs to the public IP. How it will do? Using the network address translation, right? So it will convert your private IPs to the public IP, and then whenever ISP will receive your traffic, it will think that all the traffic is coming from this public IP. Yes or no? Correct. So all the traffic is coming from this particular public IP, because internally private IPs. So always remember, the normal private IPs or the private IPs, any private IP, are non-routable over the internet. Always remember that, right? All the private IPs are non-routable over the internet. Only the public IPs are routable over the internet, not the private IP. So in that case, it will doing the network address translation and forwarding the traffic. So in that case, everybody knows I have to send the traffic to my gateway, right? And the traffic will move out because they know how to forward the traffic. And obviously, this router also having the default route towards this public IP, right? But in this case, this computer have the different gateway, which is this router. This computer has a different gateway, which is this router. These computer doesn't have only single gateway to which is at my edge. They don't have like that. They have the different gateways available, and because they are connected with a different router, so they are not able to reach directly to the ISP. In that case, we have two options. Anybody can tell me what are the two options to make this internal network communicate to the internet?
We have to configure our default route originated to the OSPF so that all the traffic that's suitable towards the internet will put that router.
How we will do that? If we configure default route here on this router, let's say this is R2, will it work? So here already default route is present that we know. If I configure R2 as a default route, will it work?
No.
Then what we should do?
No, I guess the OSPF has the configuration for default route originated. So
yes, that's right. That's right. So what we need to do is, the first option is we have to go to this router R1, and under the routing OSPF process, we need to give the default route information originate command, and then what will happen is it will inject a default route into the OSPF, saying that, hello Mr. Router 2, hello Mr. Router 3, if you are not matching any traffic internal to the OSPF routes, please forward it to me, any unknown traffic, and I know how to route to the outside, right? So you have to configure a OSPF default information originate command under this router, and it will automatically inject this one. And the second way, this is the one of the way. Second way, anyone?
Configure the default route towards the R1.
To the
R1.
So that is already there, default route.
No, I mean, create the default route R2 towards the R1. So
okay,
whatever the traffic's coming.
R2 to R1, and then R3 to R1, like that.
Yeah.
That will create a problem actually.
Yeah.
Right? So second way is we can do the redistribution of the static route. Yeah. So you can do the redistribution on the R1, and we can redistribute the static route into the dynamic routing. So that also works similar kind of the what exactly the default information originate was doing. That was the similar way of doing that. So we have the two options to do that, right? So this is, let's say, let's try we can do that or not.
Well, I mean, the default route, manual default route, we can redistribute in the OSPF.
Yeah, we can redistribute.
Okay. Okay.
And it's because it's a static route. Actually, it's a static route. Don't think about it's a dynamic default route. A static route can be redistributed.
Got it.
Sir, we will start the topic from OSPF.
No, we will start from basic static routing also. So I'm going to show you the multiple ways to do static routings as well, and we will troubleshoot the static routing concepts, and that we will differentiate the multiple AD values and how it will prefer. So we will actually manipulate the routings multiple. So one of the example we are doing currently, that how we can do the default information originate for us any of the specific routing protocol. This kind of scenario, then we will move back to the multiple ways of doing static routing, and then we will run the EIGRP or RIP. Then we will understand how to check their logs and everything, how to troubleshoot the specific issues with the RIP or EIGRP. So we will do deep dive. Actually, we will stick to one scenario, and we will do multiple things in that. we will say this way, that way, not that way. So all those things actually. So that is what NRC is. We need to troubleshoot in the different ways actually.
So this lab will be your personal lab, or it should be the networking lab?
Networkings also have the similar types of labs, so you can directly you will be having the credentials, so you can directly log into that, and you can directly do the practicals over there. And the practicals, these are the very simple ways of doing the practical. So you can use your own laptops if you have good configuration, so you can use GNS3 and all. You can design your own way of topology, because in that specific EVNG lab that is networking is providing, that will be fixed labs. You cannot create your own labs, or either if you want to create your own labs, you have to request them to create, because they are not giving you access to create your own lab, because it will create hassle in that case. So that's what, either you do your own, or either you can have the labs available with the networkings, you can practice there as well.
Sure, thank you.
Yep. So let me simply configure the things over here. So this, we will think this is our ISP, this router. Start this.
So what is your preferred method to configure router? Making templates on the templates and putting there, or just configure one by one?
I will be preferring your own templates that I'm going to show you, right?
Okay.
Or the similar diagrams are available in the EVNG lab also, so you can do the same practicals over there as well.
No, I was asking, like, you do the notepad to configure make the configuration, like the interface and all those configuration, and put in the router,
Okay.
or you can configure?
We will, because I assume that you guys, all guys are know a few of the things, so we will directly do on the router. That will be good, or either whatever you say, I'll do that in the notepad as well.
Oh, no, I'll go with you, whatever you're gonna do.
Okay, no problem. So let's change its host name, saying that it is ISP. Increase the font. Here is, okay. So host I'm giving is the ISP, and interface where it is 2.3. Let's take is a /30 IP 202.50.40.1 255.255.255.252, right? No shutdown. And we will take some loop back over here for the virtual ISP links. So we'll say it is 1.1.1, which will act as a Google, right? And interface loop back 1, IP address 2.2.2.2, just to have few networks available. Say show IP interface brief. So you can see we have simply configured 3 interfaces, nothing else. And you can see this interface is down. So can you tell me why it is down?
The other side of the link state is
The
down.
other end is down, right? So protocol, this is called protocol down, and protocol down will be as because of your maybe interface is not working properly, or your the interface linked interface is not like unshut, right? That can be the reasons that this interface can be having the issues. So remember that it can be the physical issue, or it can be the interface having some wrong configuration on the interface. So anybody, let's say if I don't know this, what is happening on this specific interface, and maybe this was configured earlier with some configurations and all, and I want to make this interface to work and it is not coming up even after connecting with the link, the next hop link also. If it is not coming up, I have given the right IP, right everything. So anyone, like, what should we do in that case if it is not coming up and we know that the physical link is good?
Maybe the cable problem.
We will disable or enable. That what you are saying?
Yeah.
Any other
Disable
thing?
or enable. Yeah, and maybe replacing the cable connection between those two router.
Okay, let's say you have done that, you have done shut, no shut also, still it is not coming up. There is a thing called default interface, remember?
Yeah.
So you can make that interface as a default in that case, right? Default interface, whatever the interface it is. So you have to like do that default interface 2x3. So in that case, maybe some of the configuration, maybe the bandwidth, so maybe the duplex, full duplex, half duplex, maybe somebody have configured that way, or maybe someone has configured the wrong MTU or something. So it is always remember that you can do the default interface command. Then it will make that interface as much as a new, that default configuration with no configuration actually on that interface. So without going to the configuration and checking out what is happening, sometime a few things will not be visible in your configuration as well when you do show run. So it is always good to do the default interface command. That will make your interface as a default one, right?
Yeah. Before doing that, make sure you save the configuration for that interface.
Correct, right.
Yeah.
You can do that. So okay, we have given the IP here, and let's go to the R3. So here it goes. So we will rename this as a edge. Keyboard, man. Post name edge. Right, interface serial 2x0 or what? So IP interface brief. IP address, what we have given there, 202.50.40. Dot 1. So shut down, show IP interface brief. I think
Yeah, much better.
yeah. So let's go to one 2x0 here also. Okay, just I'm changing the interface, serial 0x2, sorry, 2x0. right? So you can see the protocol is also comes up. So we have a connectivity between these two, and let's run the IP address to R1. Say IR to this interface serial 0 by 1, sorry, 2 by 1. The address will take 192.168, or we will take some 10.0.0.1, 255.255.255.252, because we are taking the /30 IP address between the point-to-point links. So because we are considering these are the point-to-point links, right? So we have done it on this as well. Let me configure this. Quantity interface, which is 2 by 3, serial 2 by 3 IP address. I'll take 10.0.0.5 255.255.255.252. So guys, subnetting, I will show you, like I'll share few of the things with you, subnetting, if you don't know. Otherwise, I assume that you guys know at least subnetting, what is /30/29/ something. So in tomorrow's class, or maybe your next class, what we will do is we will understand if anybody have a problem with subnetting and all. We will go through with that as well. So I'll say show IP interface brief. So simply have given 10.5 over here, so I have to give. So I can do that. I can simply, here we can say we have the public IP, and here we have 10.1/30. We have here 10.5/30, because it is the 10.4/30 network. This is 10.0/30 network, and this will be your 10.2/30, and this will become the 10.6/30. So let's go to R3 back, and we'll configure the IP address there as well. Interface, we have serial 2 by 1 and 2 by 3. Serial 2 by 1 IP address 10.0.10.0.2 255.255.255.252, no shutdown. Interface serial 2 by 3 IP address 10.0.0.6 255.255.255.252, no shutdown. Right, show IP interface brief. So we can see that all are up, protocol is up, everything looks good. Then we will go to the R1 back, and let we have configured some LAN interface. So loopback 0. So guys, loopback we are configuring because in the real environment we will be having switch over here, or might be you will be running the sub interfaces for multiple VLANs and all, right? The router on a stick kind of stuff. So router on a stick, like you will be having a switch over here, and you will be having a trunk to switch trunk to a router, and then you will be having a VLAN. So discarding that LAN network. So what I'm doing is I'm virtually taking the loop backs to make those as a LAN network, right? So because just we want to have the test the connectivity, that is why we are doing that. In the real environment, you will be having the sub interfaces and a trunk towards the switch. According to the different VLANs, the different subnets will come to your router, and then you will route those using the routing protocol. So I'll say interface loopback 0. I'll say IP address 192.168.1.1.255.255. We can take it as a /32 as well, because this is only the link. Otherwise, you can take it as a /24, but loopback will not understand that. So otherwise, you can take it as a /24 as well. And then again, interface loopback 1 I will take, and I'll say IP address 192.168.2.1, which is different network again. Right. So I have taken two subnets over on the IR router. right? And then say show IP. So if you are into the different interface mode or any other mode, you can say do show IP interface brief, right? So you can put any, if you want to run any show command in the other mode than the privilege mode, so you can use the do command, right? So simply I have done it over here, and let's go to the R2 back, and R2 also I'll create some loop back. Interface loop back 1, IP address. I'll take 192.168.4.0, sorry, 4.1, 255.255.255.0. No shut is not required because loop backs are automatically up, right? So remember that. 192.168, 3.0, 255, 255.255.0. Sorry, 3.1. Right? So I have created that. Now, let's say if I want to have the default route with R3. So let me go to the R3 and edge router. So show IP route, if I say, so you can see I have only the connected routes with me, right? C means connected. So we have only the connected routes with me. And can I communicate to these 1.1.1 or something? Can we do that? Yes or no?
Not right now.
Not right now, right? Because 1.1.1, maybe I'll say google.com it is. And the second one we have 2.2.2 something. Because we do not have any route available. So let me go to the R3 now and configure the IP route. So IP route will say, and we'll say the default route 0.0.0.0, and then we'll say the mask, which is again 0.0.0, right? And that outgoing, sorry, the destination source and the destination IP, and then the out. So now we have multiple options to configure a default route. So one is to give the outgoing interface, and one is to give the destination next hop address. So can anyone tell me what is the difference between both? If I give the destination IP of my public IP, which is R4, right? So R4, this interface, let me write this interface is this interface have the 202.50.40.1, right? So if I want to reach to the R3 to this one, can R3 can communicate to this IP? Yes or no? The next hop IP.
Yes.
Right, it can communicate. But if I want to configure the default route towards the R4, then which thing I should use? The outgoing interface or the next hop?
Either one.
Anyone you can use, right? But which will be the best or why? Reason.
Interface should be the better.
Interface will be the better. Okay. The reason
next hop, I would say.
Next hop. So which is better? I am saying, and why?
No, we are pointing directly that IP, so it's a best next hop IP. That's
Next
the best
hop
one.
IP can also be good, right? 50.40.1 that we can do configuring the default route. Okay. But why? What I'm asking is why next hop and or why the interface IP, and what are the difference? What is the benefits, or is there any difference or not?
Yeah, so next hop IP is give the recursive lookup. So that if you give the next hop, that you still need to find the what interface need to exit out that packet.
I
so
like
it will
that.
take time to recursive.
Yeah, I like that you said recursive lookup, right? Because interviewer wants to listen that only. So recursive lookup is what? Because whenever packet comes to your router, remember that whenever you are giving next hop IP address, actually it is as similar to outgoing interface normally. But what happens is, you know that the packet flow, right? Whenever packet comes, let me take it this to the see that this is what we want to understand for all the people. Lalan Dev knows good things really good, so that's okay. But for all,
thank you.
yeah. So main thing is, I want to explain detailed thing because the interviewer will grill you in that case. Interviewer will ask you why, the reason they want. So in that reason, you need to explain what exactly happening. So in that case, you need to know how the traffic is flowing. So what happens is, if anybody, let's say if R3 wants to communicate to the 1.1.1, or if anybody R1 wants to communicate to any of the traffic which is on the R4, what it will do? So whenever the traffic comes to router, it will look what exactly it will look up. It will check what? First of all,
Destination IP. Destination IP.
It will check whatever the source IP is there. Okay, and then it will check what is the destination IP. Yes or no? So destination IP, if I say 1.1.1, then what it will do? What the router's next step?
Is that my
Interface,
interface
adjacency
IP or not?
interface.
It will forward the packet to.
No.
Adjacency interface.
It is not going to forward. First of all, what I'm saying, what exactly it will do, what router will do for 1.1.1.
No, it's learned via this IP, like 202.5040.1.
Okay, fine. But router's perspective, I want to know what exactly the process of router. What router?
See, it will do a lookup on the destination IP. So from the routing table. So the routing table gives the interface through which it can reach.
Correct. So in that case, whenever we say next hop IP, the thing is it have to look up the route lookup, and route lookup, it will, whenever it will check, it will say, it will give the IP address, right? Is it giving you the interface? No. So that is what it have to again find out regarding this particular IP. It have to find out what is the interface available. That is called your recursive lookup, right? Because according to that particular IP address, if it want to check what is the interface, because router cannot simply just sending the cannot just simply route the traffic according to the IP address. It knows from which interface it comes, right? So this explanation you have to give to the interviewer, saying that okay, the interface lookup is required, which is the recursive lookup. That is why the router have to do little hard work in that case. Getting the point? But when we say the outgoing interface, right, the router already knows about it, the interface. He don't have to do the recursive lookup. So if we give the direct outgoing interface, and one more thing, that whenever you give the outgoing interface, router thinks that that network is directly connected. So when you go to the router 3, and let me give you the right now as a next hop IP itself. Now check, show IP route. So now you can see this has the static route is configured, and then next up was this one, and the all other one is showing as a directly connected, right? Now let's change the IP route. I'm changing the IP route to the interface instead of that. Route, I'll say right route. Always remember, guys, in Cisco, just you have to say no before the command, and it will get removed easily. So I'll say outgoing interface is which one? Serial 2x, right? Serial 2x. Now see the difference. Show IP route. Can you see this, guys? What it is showing? What it is showing?
Directly connected.
Directly connected. Earlier, what it was showing? In the this one, next hop via.
Yeah.
Right. So that is the difference you have to understand, right? You have to immediately identify what's happening in the real environment. So in this case, this is the static route, which is showing that let's try to ping. Let me ping first of all. So this is a difference, guys, because whenever you say directly connected, router don't have to do any lookup, right? So because he knows that this is connected to my interface, I'll forward to that interface immediately, and the traffic will be coming. So let me ping to 202.50.40.1. You can see it's pinging. If I ping 1.1.1, will it ping or not? Yes or no?
No.
Yes.
No or yes?
Yes.
Yeah, we pointed the IPs. Yeah, it should be ping.
Sure, guys. Okay. Pinging fine?
Yeah.
So no. Can it ping 2.2.2?
Yeah, ping.
So I can understand. Few of you were thinking that we have a route from R3 to R4, but we do not have a route from R4 to R3. Yes, that is why you was thinking that might it will ping, might it will not. The reason is, say, remember, router 3 is communicating to this 1.1.1 and 2.2.2 from which interface? Actually from this interface. and this network is already known by R4. Are you getting my point? So R4 know if the packet comes from this same subnet, means 202.50.40.0 is the network ID, and any packet which is coming from this network ID, he can understand that, because when you go to R4 and if you check the show IP route over there, he knows only what? He knows this network. Yes or no? That is why he is getting the ping to this one. But if I try to ping from this source, this IP or this interface, will it ping?
No.
No. Reason, because the R4 never know where is 10.0 network sitting. R4 never knows where is 10.4 network is sitting. Right? In that case, we have to do something. But before that, let's say, okay, this R3 is able to reach the 1.1.1 and this and this and this, it's okay. But now I want to reach, I want to communicate. Let me just clear this out. So let me go to R1 and let's configure the, what do you say? Let us configure the RIP itself instead of OSPF, right? So say set router RIP version 2 I'm going to use. Node summary I will say, because I'm using the classless values as well. So I'll say network I want to advertise 10.0.0, as well as I want to advertise which one it is, which I've configured loopbacks 192, 168, 1.0 and 192, 2.0. Simply I have configured this, done. And on R3 as well, we need to say router RIP, right? And network
Version 2.
Yep, version 2, node summary, network, and say 10.0.4. Network will say 192.168, 3.0, 4.0, right? I'm sorry, which router I am on? Okay. Sorry. So networks I have configured. So 10.4, 10. Show IP route. So you can see I'm having two routes which is coming from 10.1, and on this also R2 and say router RIP version 2, auto summary, network 10.0.0.4, network which one is 192.168, 3.0 and 4.0, right? So our edge router is now also have the 3.0, and soon it will have the 4.0. Yep, here it is, right? So we have the network between these things. Now let's say from R1, if I want to communicate to we have any loopback on R3? Let's check. So we do not have. Let's configure interface loopback 10 IP address, maybe saying 5.5.5.5 or that's internal. Router RIP. Now we check on R1, let's say show IP route. Let's see, we have these networks, right? So if we want to communicate to maybe 192.168.10.1, It is communicating, right? But if I want to communicate to this public network, let's say ping 202.50.40.1, will it ping? Yes or no? From R1, this one.
No, it will not.
It will not ping. The reason because in the routing table of R1, it doesn't have anything, right? So what I have to do is either we need to redistribute the static route in the RIP, or either we have to go to the router RIP. This command, right? So this command, what it will do is it will send the default route to the R1 and R2, right? Check it out. So I just simply said that default information originate command. Let's check that what router 1 have now. Earlier, you know that this guy is having only these many routes. The RIP routes only itself, nothing else. Now, if you say show IP route, can you see this? R star. What does it mean?
Default route is
Yes,
to
default route is, so if what it does it mean is if any packet comes to IR, means this R1, which is not matching the routing table, what it will do, it will forward to this specific interface. Yes or no? And the ISP will understand that all traffic is coming from whom? Only from this interface. He doesn't know that the source IP will be this one. The reason because he said he has the R1 is sending the packet to the specific gateway, and this gateway is converting that traffic from its outside interface to this gateway. So R4 will understand that traffic is coming from R3 itself. So if I'll say ping, will it ping or not? Now, at least to the so it is pinging. No, it is not pinging to 40.1. The reason, if I'll say, okay, let's say if I try to ping v1.1.1, is it pinging? No. Anyone? What else is required? Let me do the trace. I'll say trace. I want to check 202.40. Sorry, 50.40. What was IP on this side? To let's say.
Varun, I think we need to advertise under the RIP to not.
What?
I mean the public IP. We need to advertise a public IP under the RIP.
No. Public IP we cannot advertise in the RIP.
So, what is a loopback? I forgot that the loopback IP for that.
Loopback is already advertised.
Okay.
Just a second. Let me trace for you. Let it complete. Can you see one thing? I am able to reach up to 40.2. Who is 40.2?
Edge node.
Router 3.
So the traffic which is coming to R1, which is not matching his routing table, is forwarding to R3, and R3 is able to reach here. Then why it is not reaching to R4?
Default gateway need to set up on the R3 to public.
R3 to
Public towards the R4.
it is already there. Default route is there, right?
Is it? Yeah.
Actually, R1 doesn't know about the 4.40.1. Sorry, yeah, 40.1. 40.2 is in edge node, so he can able to reach.
I'll say trace 202. Okay, let's say trace route 1.1.1. The traffic is going to 10.2, and after it is getting lost. Right? Let me check that R3 show IP route. I'll say ping to 1.1.1. it's pinging fine, right? And if I'll say trace, so here trace it simply easy that it is going via this specific network. Then in this case, what exactly? So R4, R1 or R2 both. Let me check on R2 as well. Let's say show IP route. So main thing is that we got a default route and we are able to reach to the edge router, right? So in that case, we are not able to reach to the, I'll say ping 200 to what is that 50.40.2. It is pinging, but 40.1, 11, 40.1. We will check it. It is not going right.
It's 11, so yeah.
Yep.
We have to do some static route from 41 to
From 41
40.1 to 40.2.
40.1 to 40.2.
Yes. There will be a route will be showing on R, I think R4 router.
See, actually, your ISP, whenever your traffic is coming to your edge router knows where to forward, right? But whenever see the traffic is reaching up to R4 in that case, you can say, but to this interface, but R4 doesn't know how to respond to that because the source IP is what is exactly the 10.1 and 10.1 is not known by the R4. So what we need to do on R4?
Maybe
redistribute.
Sorry?
Redistribute.
No.
Static route back to 10.1.
In
default
real
gateway towards the R3.
Sorry?
Because there is no default route between R4, R3 and R4.
Yeah,
so I
but
think
in real
I think I
environment,
have to need a static route.
in real environment, what exactly is there is like in real environment, they will be having one default route to their public IP. Okay, so this public IP they will be having in real environment, but we haven't configured anything on R4. So if any traffic is coming from this interface, he doesn't know to where to forward back, right? So in that case, we need to say IP route 0.0.0, and we can give the not exactly the default route in the real environment. They will do the specific public IP, but here for our purpose, we can just do this one. And the next top IP is 202.50.40. Which one it is?
40.2,
right?
Yeah.
So IP route. Right. Let's try that now. But there is one more way. I'll tell you that also. But let me.
So Varun, one question here. So R4 might be interfacing other other networks also, right? Which are allocated with the public IPs.
So that's what I'm saying. In real environment, we will be not making exact default route with the ISP. Okay, because ISP is using BGP over there to get this customer connected to internally, right? In real environment, this R4 is the ISP, and he is not having this customer only in the normal routing table. He will be routing towards through the BGP, right? Internally. That's the problem.
Yeah, so that is in case if that particular customer, has been allocated more than, 52, or
Yeah,
a situation where they need to use.
In that case, we don't have to do the default routing. In that case, more than 50 subnets are there, then we will prefer to enable the BGP between these two.
Okay, so but a smaller customer also are interfaced, then they need to be specific.
Yeah, they need to be specific to the routing actually. See this pinging, and if I'll say 1.1.1, working fine, 2.2.2, right? So actually, what I want to say is I'll show you another way also tomorrow, right? So what I'll do is this ISP, you can see right now what actually it is doing is because the traffic whenever it is receiving, he don't know how to send the traffic back. So R3 is doing after the default information originate command, he is doing the right work. He is trying to send the traffic to this one. But when he receive, according to the source IP, he doesn't know where to send back, right? In that case, we have to say that, okay, whatever the destination, whatever. So one more thing, even though, let me show you if we can do that. So we have configured the route, right? Let me change this. Say, body dot 0. IP route moved already. IP route this dot. Outgoing interface. Serial to one.
I think 0.0.0 and interface in the last.
Yeah, but not I'm not trying to do that.
Okay.
Concept. That works. Okay, I'll come back to you for this different way, one of the another different way tomorrow, right? So today, so what we understand is we can manipulate the routing in a different way. We will do multiple static routes, and we will compare the routes AD values and all. One of the ways we have understood the connected default route and what is the difference between next hop route, right? Similarly, we will understand multiple option for the AD as well. For the AD different, like say if you have multiple path available and you have to compare the AD values and all, so how we can manipulate, as well as in the some routing looping mechanism, we will understand the split horizon, poison reverse, and all those things. So we'll understand that also. Okay, so for today we'll wind up here and we'll move tomorrow, right? Any question anybody have?
Varun, you asked it, right? Which is the best way to enabling the IP routes, like interface or next hop? Which one is best?
See, that depends. So that's what I was asking. There is another answer that interviewer needs actually. So when we say the outgoing interface, normally that is best. Yes or no? Yes,
Yes, yeah.
because we said we are not doing the recursive lookup. Remember?
Yeah.
Right. But remember that. Let's say this is the router, and you have the shared medium. Shared medium means you have multiple next hops. Getting my point?
Okay.
You have the multiple next hop with the same network. The network ID is same. Let's say 202.50.40.0, right? This is having 40.1, this is having 40.2, this is having 40.3, this is having 40.4. Now you have a shared medium. Now you tell me, as this question I want from Lalan to answer. Now you tell me, do you want to configure the next hop or the outgoing?
So I will do the both.
Yes, you can do the both, but best way.
Best way is to have the IP so that the default IP should be providing the.
There is your answer actually. There is your answer. The reason being, because you have a shared medium, if you give only the outgoing, it have to do the lot of ARP lookup, right? It can be, there will be the lot of ARP flooding in that case. So in that time, you have to say only the next hop. Getting my point? Okay. So your answer is, whenever you have the shared medium, due to the ARP flooding, because ARP is what? IP to name to, so IP to MAC address, whatever that next hop MAC address is available. right? That you have to understand that. So in that case, whenever you have a shared medium, you always have to say next hop IP, not the outgoing. So outgoing interface, you always remember. I remember whenever you have a point-to-point link, then it is the best to configure outgoing interface. And whenever you don't have the point-to-point link, that time it is best to give at least next hop, or both also is a possible. That is good. Normally people doesn't know that we can do the both also. So that I was going to show you as well. But yeah, you know that, that's good. Got it? So shared medium, it is always prefer to. So in an interview, you have to say that if it is a shared medium, I will configure either the best possible way is next hop, and either I can do the both also, but is best is next hop. Right? In the point-to-point environment, you have to say only the outgoing. Correct?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, then. Take care. Have a nice day, and we'll meet up tomorrow, the next class, or maybe tomorrow, or maybe I'm not sure. Tomorrow will be the class, or same time, 9:30, or either the next Saturday, and then we will continue continuously Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, like that, right?
So the timing should be the same, or can
Yeah,
we go a little
timings.
earlier? Because
Yeah, timings will be the same, 9:30 to 11:30 around.
yeah, for me it's gonna be 1 a.m. here in Chicago.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, but that should be fine.
Okay,
If
no problem.
we cannot move, that should be fine. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Okay, Mohammed, no problem. We'll try to.
Regarding the WhatsApp groups, sir.
We will create it
And-
soon. We will create it soon. Not a problem.
Sure.
Okay. Bye, guys. Take care. Have a nice day. Have a nice morning today. Good sleep.
Yeah, sure.